We are now live.
We are now live.
We're live. This is our second self-funding exercise. I'm calling it an exercise because this is literally us working through it with you.
Definitely. And I'm getting more and more comfortable now, for sure.
I don't know. Do you look comfortable? Does he look comfortable, everyone?
It feels good.
I tried to, put some real clothes on, but he was mid-workout. I don't know, you can tell them that.
Yeah, I was. I mean, she actually does this a lot. She'll be like, all right, you can work out. And then once I actually say, all right, I'm about to go work, she'll be like, wait. I need you to...
It's tricky. It's tricky to get the workouts in. What can I say? I support you.
And you don't want to miss out on the work. Because, when you see me and I done got the work in, you like...
I want to get to work too.
Yeah.
So we should already jump in to this week's topic, which is money misconceptions. We feel really, really passionate about sharing our experiences with money and finance and savings because they are very, starkly different. Obviously, my whole life, I've had a lot of privilege. I've had privilege being white. I've had privilege coming from a family that could afford to put me in. Well, I got scholarships, but I was in a scenario where I went to very, very good schools. My parents, it's kind of interesting, the story of my parents, because they didn't come from much, but my dad, for example, he self-taught himself. He didn't do great at school, got bullied, and it's such an inspiring story because he ended up then going to, not the best university, but he ended up getting better and better and better and educating himself to the point where he has 3 MBAs and all these qualifications, and he's continuously still learning. So the moral of this story is there was a tiny bit, I guess, of financial literacy in my family to begin with, and I got a little bit of generational wealth, I would say. A tiny bit. My dad was one of 10, so I just feel like...
Yeah, for me, totally different.
Totally different, I feel like.
My mom had 2 jobs. She was, working to make sure that I was good. My dad, he got it out the mud as well. He did taxi driving. He did so many jobs. He sold insurance. He did... same thing with my mom, but I was raised with my mom, and she had an interesting relationship with money. That's what I'll say.
Don't we
because
all?
She's gonna watch this, and I don't want her to be, why you tell them folks I was bad with money? You know I ain't bad with money. But she had an interesting relationship with money, and she liked nice things, and sometimes she couldn't always, she didn't always think for the future. But she made sure that I was good. She made sure that I had all the things that I needed, because she didn't want me to go out and people be looking at me and I had till this day, if I'm wearing something, if I'm wearing too many sweats, or if I'm wearing something that she doesn't like, she's like, why you wearing, you need to go put some clothes on. I ain't raised you like that. And it's like, all right, Ma, I get it. But I think in that same instance, I wasn't taught a lot of things about money that I learned not until probably 29, 30 now, honestly. Because, and it's just like taxes and credit, and even my first bank account wasn't until college, and the only reason I got a bank account was to get my scholarship check. So I only learned about money to spend it, not to invest it.
You still don't have a credit card?
Yeah, I don't do credit card. I'm still not going to do a credit card.
No.
I'm not going to lie.
So, flip side, I remember my parents, from as early as I can remember, saying to me, when you get a birthday card with money in, you have to save 20% of it. So not only was I learning about saving, I was learning about percentages. I was learning about, essentially, I always got told you can't buy anything that you don't have the cash for, you know? I got told about liquid, I got told about savings. I had a bank account really, really early on, and I also started modeling at 13, so I started earning money pretty early, like 15. And so I was really, and my parents and my dad especially made sure that I understood earning money and how much would have to go to taxes. And you know, they both ended up running their own little businesses from home, so they learned about expenses.
And Doug is incredible when it comes to taxes.
Yeah, that's my dad.
He knows everything when it comes to
he
like,
has
what
the
you should pay.
biggest thirst for learning, which again transpired that I got to benefit from all of his learning. So even though they also didn't come from much, you know, my dad was one of 10. His bed was in the top drawer of a chest of drawers, and he slept with, you know, 2 of his cousins. And same thing, my mom came from a tiny little town in Northern Ireland, and she, you know, so courageous. She left there, traveled to Italy, came to England, and they both went to this polytechnic university, and they found each other. And I remember them telling me after 6 months they had a joint bank account, and you know, what was mine was yours. And I think in our day and age, that's so much more taboo. It's so...
Why do you think that though?
I mean, I want to say that people are protective over what they have more. Maybe they really put more emphasis on what they have, and they feel like, I earned this, why should I all of a sudden open up and give you access? I think we're maybe less trusting as a society, and I feel like in a world where everything feels a little bit more temporary or throw away, that feels like such a huge move that not many people would just share a bank account after 6 months, you know? But yeah, talking about money, especially not understanding what your other partner knows and what you know, can cause rifts, it can cause resentment, and it's not a healthy foundation to build a relationship on. So I, from the get-go, wanted to be very open with Philip. You knew what I was bringing in, you knew what my monthly expenses were, and vice versa. Like, we really talked about our situation, and we weren't scared to be like, you know what, I've messed up with money in this way, or I want to help you this way.
Because I'm going to be real with y'all. Boom, 2016, 17, it was lit for me. I'm not going to front. It was very, very lit. Boom. Sasha, my brother, my mom used to tell me all the time, yo, pay your taxes, dog. Yo, have you paid your taxes? Yo, pay your taxes. I'm paying them now. That's what I will say.
Now we're doing it. I made sure that happened.
I am paying them now. And that's something that, you know, I'm glad that I'm on top of now. But it's also just maturing, like growing up.
But you had to save to be able to do that, because obviously there was backlog.
Yeah, so it's like, but it's just like you, and the best experience. I mean, and sometimes you do got to bump your head. You got to bump your head to
yeah, we're all going to make mistakes around money, but I think today focusing on the misconceptions is a great place to start, because before you even figure out what your future is going to be with money, with saving, with investment, you have to figure out your relationship with money. Where has that stemmed from? And you have to really kind of undo all of the potential pitfalls or stereotypes or whatever misconceptions you might have. So I want to start off with money equaling happiness. So again, I feel like we're both from very different circumstances, different parts of the world. Let's break it down. What makes you happy, and does it require money?
I can definitely testify to the happiest I've ever been. I didn't have the most money that I ever had in my account. That's for sure. And it was just, I want to say it was at the top of 2019 and for on. I was just like at peace. I was doing what I had come off the road, because being a tour manager and a road manager, you don't get much sleep. You don't eat well. You're not working out. The money was good, but at the same time, like, I wasn't able to rest. I wasn't able to put my energy into other things that would further my career. I wasn't, able to create. And then once I got off of the road in 2019, I got to hone in. I got to write songs. I got to work on my brand. I got to, you know, be a best partner with you. I had to, you know, I just got to just be in a way better space. So.
Yeah. So that's interesting because essentially when you were earning the most, your health was deteriorating.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of the times when we are so focused on career or money, we can lose track of being able to invest time into also looking after ourselves.
Definitely.
I definitely feel the same in the sense that when I was living in New York and everything felt at my disposal, you know, that energy in New York, that fire, that what's next? How am I going to go up the ladder on my career? How am I going to da-da-da-da? There was a lot less time spent just being at peace and being present. And so I think that when we really attach happiness and money together, we have to really, really be careful because there are so many things in life that don't cost a penny. And sometimes we lose track of those when we're too focused on chasing the money.
Yeah.
So,
But I'd rather be rich and happy than broken. And
I think most people would be because the way that our society is constructed makes it very difficult to not have money and to survive in the sense of even choosing food to eat. You know, like we were shopping in Whole Foods last night and I was just like, yo, it's this much for this organic da-da-da-da-da. I was like, how can a huge family be able to afford to do that? So for sure, there is definitely certain freedoms and choices that can make life easier, but also, you know, there are some trials and tribulations that come from having money. So next question, does money equal success?
Definitely not for me. I mean, my definition of success has changed a lot. When I was younger, it was, I want to win a Grammy, I want to do this, I want to be, you know, this huge music executive, I want to sign a whole bunch of artists, I want to win all the awards that I can win. And then, as I got older, as I matured, and as I started living in my purpose, I realized that just somebody saying that I helped them be better and I helped them do something that they thought they couldn't do, that started to feel like better than any award that I ever wanted or anything that I wanted. Just like putting smiles on people's faces and like helping them, you know, live out their dreams.
Yeah.
Really, really cool.
I agree. And some of the most successful people I know in terms of money are some of the loneliest people I know. Or they feel isolated, or they feel oftentimes when you have a lot of money, people demand certain things from you. So, you know, I have a...
That is true,
you know,
man. When you do have some money.
It depends as well where you're from, but you know,
it's definitely
I was in a past relationship and that person was highly successful and earned a bunch of money, and unfortunately that changed the relationship with every single person that he knew and in his family.
People do change around you, I think.
Yeah, money changes a lot, unfortunately. And again, like we said, one thing I couldn't believe is that the athletes in America, like they have, you know, when Patrick Mahomes had his big signing thing, and it was like,
TV.
Whoa, it's on TV. Everyone knows he's got 400 whatever million. And so immediately, his friend from 10 years ago is about to hit him and be like, so. So I think that for me, and again, that's an extreme version. However, what I will say is, I bought my first house, and my family, it wasn't a negative thing at all. They were really proud of me, but they were still like, whoa, Iskra's got this nice house in America and da-da-da-da-da. And then unfortunately at the same time, it was around the time that my grandma passed, and they were kind of like, she shouldn't be in the will because clearly she's earning enough money. And just stuff like that. Money can really impact families. You know, so that version of success and money equaling success is really interesting because do you succeed if you alienate your family? Do you succeed if the people are, you know, like...
Well, I do, like, it's like I do want the freedom and I want to be able to help so many people around me. But I think that when people are willing to sacrifice their morals and values for money, it can be a slippery slope, and then you find yourself turning into the person that you never thought you would be, and it's just like you don't ever want to be.
No, you don't.
In a place where you're cutthroat and you're doing things that you know better.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And I think it's on us, if we do have someone that suddenly earns a lot more money, to be super respectful.
Yeah.
And to understand. So this is one of the big misconceptions that I've experienced. As I have earned more money, my outgoings have also increased.
Sure.
So my actual cash or liquid, I would say, is relatively, as a percentage of my income, stayed kind of constant. So what that means is, and I remember I had a friend who was a really successful boxer back in the day, and he told me, he was like, Iskra, I earn, what did he say? I want to say, he said I earn like 50 grand a year. I mean, a month. I'm messing this up.
Like,
50 grand a month.
Stop boxing.
Yeah, right? And his outgoings were 25,000 a month. And I was so shocked at that point, because I said, how on earth does someone have just monthly outgoing, like a consistent monthly spend of 25 grand? And that's not talking about shopping, that was talking about mortgage, school fees, food, like the training.
No,
like,
because with the money, the price of living.
Exactly. So I think one misconception is when someone gets a bunch of money and then you think that that's sat in their account, it really isn't. And one thing with someone, for example, like if I talk about my career as a model, I used to be a solo model. I mean, I didn't earn much for a long time. For the first 10 years in my career, I basically earned nothing. I often did shoots for free. And then what happened is, as I started to gain money, then I needed to pay PR.
That you just came here just on some like, yo.
Yeah, we need to have a whole episode about that. Moving to another country and how you do it. That should be another one. But I then had to get PR, which costs $4,000 or $5,000 a month. Then you're living in an apartment in New York. That costs $5,000 a month. Then you're living in New York, so it costs more to eat and to survive. Then even little things like my agency was like, oh, now you're a successful model, you have to have the designer bag. So I like to buy my bags off of second-hand shops. But anywho,
you know
Vestiaire, the real,
hey, you gotta.
I still have the mentality that I had when I was growing up, where I just don't know. I'm very careful and cautious, and I save. And that has set me up.
Yeah, she checks me all the time. One day I was making an invoice, and I went online and I saw this invoice company that makes invoices for you, and it costs, how much did it cost? Or they take like
1%?
Yeah.
1%. It takes 1%. And yo, I was like, absolutely
she
not.
checked me and was like, no, you are not giving them 1% for that invoice. I was like, oh, okay.
Because the way I saw it was, okay,
I just don't want to do it.
That was 1% of 20,000, right? Yeah. But imagine if he does that for every single invoice for the rest of his life.
Thinking about it.
That's 1% of your earning, just because it was convenient.
And now I'm making my own invoices.
Which is very easy on Google Sheets, so highly recommend. It's free. Okay, so I feel like we've covered that area, but now we have to jump into money equaling love.
Yeah. I want to let y'all know, guys, I didn't have no money when I met Iskra at all.
And how many comments? How many comments did we get on Instagram where it's like, oh, she's only with him because of the money, he's in the music industry.
It was just pure, just me, being yourself.
The heart.
I was really just being myself, and she was like, yo, I like this guy.
Yeah.
You know.
Kind of fun to be around.
You know what I'm saying?
You make me feel good. You know? All the stuff that money can't buy, that's what he gave to me.
But she inspired me though, because just seeing how she wanted nothing from me but loyalty and respect. Mm-hmm. And just, she was just like, yo, this is what I'm doing. I can put you on, like, are you trying to, like, because this is the bare, like, I'm not even at my peak yet, but I would, I'm gonna keep going this way up. If you would like to, and I was just like, yo, who are you talking to? Yeah, I want to come up, yeah, so just that fire she lit in me was like, wow, I was like, yo, she inspires me to be better, to want more, to do more.
So I think my experience is interesting because like I mentioned before, I've been in a relationship with someone who is like super wealthy, mega wealthy, and in fact, that was sort of used as, well, wanted to be used as a method of control. And I think in a subconscious way, not in a direct way, but in a like, why are you still working? I can provide for you, just quit your job. And isn't that what you want? Isn't that what all women want? And I was very confused because that was already a warning sign that clearly that person doesn't know who I am, because I love what I do and I enjoy working and creating. So that's another topic as well, financial abuse. But so my experiences with that of a slight resentment towards the money, in the sense that the gifts felt less value. They felt less thoughtful, because clearly it's easy to go and buy an expensive gift and give it. It almost has less thought behind it than someone who, has maybe had to save up or has had to think because they don't have the money and they've had to get a little bit more creative. My other experience was I had a friend and he was broke for a long time, and then he got into the oil business. This is super random. Managed to get into the oil business and made a lot of money in oil deals. So all of a sudden went from nothing to $13 million deals, like every couple months. And so this was my partying time in London. This was when I was single, and he was, actually no, I was seeing his friends. So anywho, we would go to the club and he would have a table and all the, and why they put the fireworks on the bottles is so the girls can see who's buying all the bottles. So anyway, he's got the bottles going, he's pulling up in his red Ferrari.
Man came up, though.
Man came up. Good for him, right? However, he came to me and he was like, Iskra, I'm really lonely. I don't know how to meet a nice girl. He kept saying, I want to meet a nice girl. And I was like, okay, so when you are parading your wealth in the club and you are gaining attraction off certain types of women, what do you think they're coming to you for? Because you're screaming that you have money, so they're not actually interested in you, they're interested in the money. So what's interesting is how many songs do we hear where it's like, don't chase money, don't chase girls, chase money. There's a whole mentality, and I guess what I want to discuss and what I want to make sure that you're figuring out is potentially the types of people who are going to go after the money are maybe not the people who are going to love you for you, because they're too busy loving the money or loving the lifestyle you provide or the material things. So I think that there's a real fine line. Pardon the interruption, we had some technical difficulties. We'll be right back with the rest of the episode. I was earning or bringing in, or...
Somebody has to open up. One of you have to open up first, right? Is that what would happen?
Yeah, I'd say so.
Somebody has to jump.
Yeah.
It could be you, or it could... the way I get people to tell me things that they don't want to tell me is I tell them things. That they wouldn't think that I would tell them. Yeah, because expecting someone else to be open about their finances if you aren't, you have to trade some vulnerability. You want to be vulnerable.
Also, I think if you're already having a conversation around money, it will feel more natural. So maybe that is reading books about money, or even watching shows or programs, and kind of, we recently watched Billions, so then it's kind of like, oh, are you interested in doing investments? Are you interested in the stock market? It kind of gets the conversation warmed up around it almost. But yeah, it is crazy how you've probably talked about 1,000,001 things and money might not have come up, or you might not even be comfortable asking. And asking what your partner earns, it shouldn't be the end of the world, and I will say society's played a big role in that. I couldn't really pin why, but for me as a model, and again, I feel this is another whole episode, we often have, well, in our contracts, from nearly everyone that I can remember, it says that we're not allowed to actually speak about what we're earning, especially on set. So that always made me like, oh wow, it's actually illegal. It's a contractual thing that I can't talk about money. And there's plenty of reasons why, because one time when I did hear some models talking about their day rate on set, I went,
Like, really?
I'm only earning half of that. So I see why they do it, but that's not healthy, and we do in this society need to figure out how we can be more open, figuring that out. Any more that you want to answer?
How expensive is a new baby?
How expensive is a new baby, and how much have you set aside?
We didn't really set any. We didn't know that we were gonna have a child. So.
Yes. I, in my mind, though, I'm a very long.
She tried. Wow, you guys caught that, right?
No,
she set me up.
Savings.
She set me up. Wow.
No, you were definitely the trapper.
Thank you guys. Wow, the whole episode. Look at that.
Well,
I actually had it under the thing right when. Wow. I'm glad that we got this out.
Oh God, you're so proud of yourself now.
That's crazy. But yes, Alpha. Oh, I'm sorry. He's not that expensive.
He's definitely expensive.
I think this is what it is. I think because we have so many people in our life that spoil him to death. Like,
that's true. It does depend. Okay, so raising a baby, it's going to depend on how many people you have around you and what that support looks like. If you can obviously try and get hand-me-downs, if you can try and share things that other friends have had. For example, we have a friend down the road and her baby's due in April. So I'm going to loan her our snoo. I'm going to loan her our changing table. I'm going to loan as many things as I can.
Because my mom be going in. She's goodness.
Yeah, Josephine is keeping the outfits on deck. So we're very lucky. But I would say you've got to probably budget for a crib, bed. That's going to be around $200-300. You can get expensive ones, but if you're really trying to $200-300, bedding, clothes, that's probably $500.
Yeah, and he's eating a lot. Yeah, they're expensive.
Maybe formula if you're not able to breastfeed. So I would say by the time your baby arrives, or again, you've probably already bought a few things, but you want to try and have like 2,000 saved if possible. I feel like that would be a really good cushion for the first year. And again, I feel like there's certain things that you can spend far too much money on that you don't need.
How much do those cost?
We buy ours from Costco. So they're really, really affordable. So it's $35.99 and you get like 190. And that does us probably 2 months. Super affordable. We've tried actually more expensive ones. Huggies, special delivery, all of those. But Costco, perfect. And the other expensive thing actually we do choose over a cheaper option is water wipes. So our friend Nars put us on those. Okay, so I feel like we're rambling a bit, but hopefully we can do a whole episode maybe on what we spend on our baby. Let us know again in the comments what other episodes you'd like us to focus on. I feel like there's so much that we need to do, but next week, are we ready to share about...
What are we talking about next week?
Well, baby, it's next week. This time next week.
What's going on?
I think we should talk about our relationship with food.
Oh, food. Thanksgiving.
Nah, more about remember your weight.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, Thanksgiving, food.
So we'll relate that to food. So next week is going to be about relationships with the food. Yeah.
Body image, right?
Body image food.
Okay.
So you've never, again, you're getting to know Philip a lot more. You see him a little bit on my Instagram, but he has incredible stories to share.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, so I'm excited for you to get to know him more and for us to keep on discussing topics that we hope will help you as well in your own life. So after this episode, you can head over to my Instagram stories and you will find a little worksheet from today where I want you to check in with yourself. What is your relationship with money? How do you associate money with happiness, money with love, money with success. And like I said, we'll be back this time next week live. And thank you so much for supporting us. We want to support you just as much. That's why we've created self-funding.
You guys have a good rest of the day.
Yes, we love you
See
guys.
you next week.
Bye.
Bye. How many people tuned in right now? I didn't know it was body image.
She's probably still live.
Yeah, we were still live.
Yeah.
That's really funny. Okay, we're good.
I just do it off the riff.
I just actually.
She's
said
like,
it.
you don't know what it is, but I thought of it in my head just now. So I don't know.
How could you not know?
So what happened? That one
Remember?
ran out of memory. Damn.
So
I know.
My dad's gonna be